In a world that constantly measures, ranks, and compares, many of us quietly live with the haunting question, am I good enough? Whether it's in relationships, careers, social media, or even self-reflection, we often feel that we fall short, that we are not doing enough, achieving enough, or simply being enough. But this belief is not truth, it is a story. And like all stories, it can be challenged and rewritten. Psychology, particularly the fields of cognitive behavioral theory, attachment theory, and self-compassion research, offers powerful tools to help us reshape how we see ourselves and convince ourselves that, in fact, we are already enough. Understand where the doubt comes from. First, we must understand that feelings of inadequacy rarely appear out of nowhere. They are often rooted in early experiences, moments when we felt criticized, dismissed, or emotionally neglected. According to attachment theory, if a child grows up in an environment where love felt conditional based on achievement, behavior, or perfection, they may internalize the belief that their worth depends on performance. This belief can become a core narrative that persists into adulthood. I am only lovable if I succeed, please others, or avoid failure. Recognizing that this voice of self-doubt is learned, not innate, is the first step in loosening its grip. You weren't born believing you're not enough. Somewhere along the way, you were taught to believe it. Challenge negative self-talk. Cognitive behavioral therapy has shown that our thoughts shape our emotions and behaviors. If we constantly tell ourselves, I'm not good enough, our brain begins to accept that thought as reality. But psychology teaches us that thoughts are not facts. They are interpretations, and they can be distorted. To change this, we must become aware of our inner dialogue. When you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, ask, where is the evidence for this? Would I say this to a friend in my situation? What is a more balanced, realistic thought I can use instead? You don't need to swing to unrealistic positivity. Even saying, I'm doing my best, and that's enough right now, begins to rewire the self-critical voice into a kinder, more supportive one. Practice self-compassion. Dr. Kristin Neff, a leading researcher on self-compassion, suggests that one of the strongest antidotes to self-doubt is treating ourselves as we would treat someone we love. Instead of judging ourselves for our imperfections, we learn to respond with understanding. Self-compassion has three key components: self-kindness, replacing self-judgment with warmth and care; common humanity, remembering that imperfection is part of being human; mindfulness, acknowledging difficult emotions without exaggerating or avoiding them. When we practice self-compassion, we shift from a mindset of I'm not enough because I'm flawed to I'm enough because I'm human. This shift can profoundly reshape our relationship with ourselves. Shift from outcome to effort. Many of us base our self-worth on outcomes, grades, salaries, likes, praise. But psychologists remind us that these are external, unstable sources of value. When our sense of worth relies on achievements, failure feels catastrophic. Instead, focus on effort, growth, and intention. According to Carol Dweck's research on the growth mindset, those who value effort over fixed ability are more resilient, happier, and more self-accepting. Remind yourself, I am not defined by what I achieve, but by how I try, learn, and grow. Reclaim your internal standards. Much of the not enough narrative stems from comparison. Social media and culture bombard us with idealized versions of other people's lives. But these comparisons are often unfair. We compare our behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel. Psychology suggests reclaiming your internal standard, your values, your goals, your definition of success. Ask yourself, what matters to me? Who do I want to be, beyond external approval? Am I living in alignment with what I value most? When you live by your own compass, not someone else's, the need for constant comparison fades, and a quiet sense of adequacy begins to emerge. Create emotional safety within yourself. Psychologist Carl Rogers argued that for a person to grow, they need unconditional positive regard, being accepted without judgment. Most of us wait for others to give this to us, but we can learn to give it to ourselves. Start by creating an internal atmosphere of safety, where it's okay to fail, to be messy, to not have everything figured out. You are not a project to be perfected. You are a person to be supported. Growth flows not from pressure, but from acceptance. You already are enough. Convincing yourself that you are enough doesn't mean you'll never struggle again, or that you'll feel confident every day. It means you choose to meet yourself with honesty, compassion, and patience. Psychology teaches us that identity is fluid, growth is possible, and self-worth is not something to be earned. It is something to be recognized. You don't need to become someone else to be worthy. You only need to come home to yourself, the self that has always, quietly, been enough.